Got a board state to update you guys on. I'm not quite sure what Lloyd's hat is, but, you know, I respect it. I do. There's clearly an Elspeth in play. There's a bunch of soldiers there. Erebos out of the deck. Kurth is at 4. Jessup is at 12. Jessup has a pack rat, a gray merchant in play, as well as a pack rat token. So it looks like those pack rats are 2/2s right now with the ability to become 3/3s or even more. Because there's a Mutavault and untapped mana. Jessup also has a Underworld Connections in play. So we do catch up on things here. Kurth looks like he's a little bit behind the 8-ball, but trying to catch up.
Yeah, so Jessup is at 12. He has to contend with an Elspeth right now. So that's going to be rough. But at least he's going to, I think he still has, a Gray Merchant's probably an out for him right here. But Lloyd does have an Erebos. It looks like he's probably not going to be able to activate it, at least, unless he wants to get a little aggressive. But
that'll be tough.
Yeah, and he also has an Underworld Connections as well. I'm not sure if he has any other cards in his hand, but
yeah, I don't think he has any cards in his hand. He's got a Connections on a Cave of Kolios there. You know, he's got the necessary mana to do what he needs to do. White sources are certainly not a problem because Elspeth is in play. So it looks like he's just doing a lot of blocking here and trying to basically just hold on. Again, yeah. Jessup sitting at 12 life. He has a Mutavault Connections in play on the Swamp. The Swamp is currently tapped. Looks like Kurth is trying to figure out the best ways to block with these soldier tokens and making sure that he can actually try to turn the corner with the Elspeth and get the job done, because he needs to close the game out pretty quickly, because if a Gray Merchant comes off the top of the deck, he loses.
Yeah.
Now you can see Jessup's hand there. 2 Swamps and a Thoughtseize. Again, he does have 6 mana at the ready, so he can make 2 more pack rats if he'd like. Activate Mutavault to turn up the heat a little bit more as well.
Yeah, so it looks like Lloyd's just going to chump block here. I like that. I don't think you really have a good gang block there. So Jessup's going to pass, and Elspeth's close to getting ultimate, which is should end the game for Lloyd. He's going to have to survive one more turn, it looks like. I don't think he's going to be able to... Yeah, he's going to have to block a lot of creatures next turn, because Jessup's going to be able to activate Pack Rat twice this turn, it looks like. So he'll be able to attack with 5 creatures along with the Mutavault, so 6 creatures that Lloyd probably has to block almost all of them.
Yeah, the thing that was really smart there from Jessup is, you know, he's got the 2 Pack Rats in play, and if he would activate the Pack Rats, you know, he would have creatures that have 4 power or greater.
Yeah.
Elspeth's going to tick down and blow them all up. But when Jessup actually goes to his turn to attack, he's going to have 4 Pack Rats, the ability to activate a Mutavault and deal a lot of damage. And as you mentioned, there's going to be a lot of chump blocking involved. It will look like.
And if Lloyd's able to survive that turn, he can actually then down tick Elspeth, because likely Jessup is going to activate Rats. I doubt he's only going to make 1. And I think he's fine with that. He doesn't want Elspeth to go ultimate.
Yeah. Kurth's going to play an Underworld Connections. That's a Pack Rat. The reason he plays the Connections, of course, is to turn on the Erebos. So the God of the Dead is on now. Devotion requirement has been met. 3 soldiers will be brought into play via Elspeth. Elspeth is up to 7, threatening an ultimate. And Kurth has 7 blockers back right now. And Erebos looks like it may want to do some attacking here.
Oof, the top deck Bioblade would be pretty sweet if he still has it in his deck.
There are worse draws. There's an attack. Actually, I'm trying to figure out how much I like this attack. It seems like it's okay. I mean, the thing here for Lloyd is he needs to get to work on Danny's life total, because again, Gray Merchant's just game over at any point. So you just want to play, I think, as few turns as possible while also balancing, you know, not dying.
Yeah, and I think the only thing he has to worry about is, I think, double removal spell wins Jessup the game, because then Jessup would only have 4 blockers.
Yeah, the way that the game is set up right now, I actually like this attack a lot. Because if he takes the 5 and goes to 7, the Elspeth Emblem will deal the other 2, and Kurth can actually get in the air with Erebos to finish things off. So Jessup, I think, is thinking long and hard about if he's supposed to block right now, because if he goes down to 7 and then, you know, the attack, Jessup makes all these rats, and, you know, the attacks happen, and then all the soldiers just block, and then Lloyd's like, all right, I'll ultimate my Elspeth, and then I have the Devotion, and I'm going to finish you off. So,
but Jessup really needs 6 attackers.
He needs a bunch of guys.
A double removal spell is an out for him, and he's going to be drawing 2 cards this turn.
Yep.
Because he has to draw first turn, plus he has a Connections in play. So double removal spells definitely lie for him, along with another Gray Merchant. So let's see what he draws here. And a Bioblade. A 1 Bioblade, double removal, Gray Merchant. He's got a lot of outs here.
Draw number 1 is a Devour Flesh. That's interesting.
I don't know if that is enough, though. It might be.
I was going to say that maybe he could target himself, but Erebos is in play, so that's not going to work. You mentioned double removal spell being good enough, but is a singular removal spell good enough? And I don't think that it is. because what Kurth will likely do is just block all the rat tokens.
Yeah.
So you put 4 soldiers on 4 rat tokens. That means you've got 2 more creatures to get through, which is the pack rat on Kurth's side and the soldier on Kurth's side. Devour Flesh takes care of 1. Gray Merchant gets blocked by the other, and the Mutavault comes through and deals 2.
Yep.
So it doesn't look to be enough.
Yeah, the only way is if he doesn't block a rat.
Yeah. And oftentimes, and I think of this a lot when we watch Owen Turtenwald play with Mono Black, is the old Devour Flesh targeting yourself trick is quite good. But when there's an Erebos in play and you're not able to gain any life, that trick is off. So Jessup is going to come into the red zone with all these creatures, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
I think you attack with Mutavault too. You have to try to make him make a mistake here.
Yeah. Because that's a simple block for Lloyd.
If he blocks with the pack rat, then you can actually cast Devour Flesh, and you would have to sacrifice the Erebos, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the few times you could actually get them to kill the Erebos, but I think you needed him to, because now he's likely just going to go ultimate, right?
I think he has to go ultimate. I don't want to say there's a world where he doesn't, but I think he will come to the conclusion where that's the appropriate play.
Yeah, because you figure if Jessup had a removal spell, he would have used it.
Yeah. So there is going to be an ultimate on Elspeth. Jessup's going to look at his Devour Flesh.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to gain life, so he can't Devour Flesh himself.
Oh, well, he can.
He can, he just won't gain life.
He's going to cast Devour Flesh. He says, I'm going to target you. Yeah, but this isn't going to do very much just because Kurth has all his mana open. He can, activate Pack Rat, discard this Thoughtseize, sacrifice the rat that's made, gain a little bit of life. He actually does get to gain life.
Yeah, and that's why I just wish he attacked with the Mutavault last turn as well, because it's not doing anything for you. And at least then you kind of force Lloyd to make the correct play and not block with his Pack Rat.
I think given the situation, you have to give your opponent the opportunity to screw up.
Yeah, that's your only chance. I mean, I don't think Lloyd blocks there, but at least you give yourself the chance.
Yeah, that's all you can really ask for. Either way, the man with the funny hat is going to even things up, and we're going to head to a third and final game here between Kurth and Jessup. As we do see the sideboards on the screen, we will start with Jessup's very quickly. 3 Lifebane Zombie and Underworld Connections, 2 Doomblade, 2 Freaka Secure, an Ultimate Price, an Erebos God of the Dead, a Liliana Vest, and 4 copies of Duress. We both like Liliana a lot here.
Yeah, Liliana, Erebos, those are the kind of big hitters that can kind of come in. The 4th Underworld Connection definitely comes in as well. Beyond that, then it's a question of, how many numbers, how many Duresses do I want? Do I want the other Ultimate Price? I think you do want the other Ultimate Price, just because it can kill Desecration Demon. Desecration Demon is one of those interesting cards. I was talking to Chris Bakula, and he was talking about how in the Mono Black Mirror nowadays, people don't have as many Dark Betrayals in their sideboard anymore. So Desecration Demon is actually a lot more impressive now than it was in the past. So Desecration Demons, usually you'd board them all out. Nowadays, they can actually be pretty effective because there's no more Dark Betrayals. So people don't have as many ways to kill it.
It's funny how Magic is, right? Before, in the Mono Black Mirror, I think the first card to go was Desecration Demon.
Yeah.
I was like, this card stinks. And now, I don't know who thought of it or who kind of noticed that, but the Dark Betrayals, as we look at the sideboards here, for example, there are none there. I remember, back when this deck first hit the scene, when Brian Rondeau won the Grand Prix and, Owen wins his Grand Prix, and we see a lot of the winning with this deck in the Open Series circuit, you would find 3 Dark Betrayals every weekend. Yeah, and
the thing is, when everyone was playing Night Veil Spectre, and when everyone was playing Mono Black, obviously you want Dark Betrayal. But the other reason was because Night Veil Spectre is hard to deal with. Like, you don't have a lot of ways to kill it. Ultimate Price doesn't do the job. Doomblade obviously doesn't do the job. Basically, it's Hero's Downfall or Devour Flesh if you can get lucky. Yeah. Dark Betrayal is one of the main ways that you can really efficiently kill a Night Veil Spectre. But now, not only are less people playing Mono Black than like when it first hit the scene, but a lot of them are just playing 4 Lifebane Zombies main too. They're not even playing the Night Veil Spectre's main anymore a lot of times. So Dark Betrayal just you went from seeing 3 in the sideboard to 2 to 1 to none here.
And given that Mono Black is still, or at least some form of this deck is still the best deck, it is a little bit surprising not to see any of those in the sideboard, but maybe you just don't need it.
Well, I think, one, you might not need it as much because you don't have to play against Night Veil Spectre as much as you did in the past. But the other thing is that I think that there's a wider variety of decks that have the potential to be scary now. So you really just can't afford to devote such a narrow sideboard slot. I don't know. Considering we're seeing 4 Mono Black decks in this top 8 and 3 of them into the top 4, obviously, it's hard to say for sure that that's correct. You know, maybe an old school mono black deck might just be best, like something with 4 underworld connections in your main, some number of dark betrayals. I mean,
going all the way back to level 1.
Yeah, I mean, look what we're seeing today. You know,
this is true. This is true. There are a lot of these. And there's one man waiting patiently to play spoiler, and Andrew Boswell. He's going to play the winner of this match, as both players are going to open up. Take a look at their 7 cards. There's a Thoughtseize over there for Kurth. There's a couple of lands. I think he's got 2 Mutavolts. Not sure if he has. Does have a swamp there in the front, so it looks like he's okay, ready to rock and roll. Jessup is good as well. We're underway here in game number 3, and it will be a Thoughtseize to kick things off. Jessup going to show us his hand. He's got 3 swamps, along with a Nightveil Spectre and 2 copies of Pack Rat.
So pretty good hand there for Jessup. He does have 2 copies of Pack Rat. Lloyd can decide to take one of them if he wants, or he can decide to take the Nightveil Spectre, depending on, obviously both cards are pretty important in this matchup. Looks like he has at least 1 removal spell. It looks like he has 2, Devour Flesh and Banishing Light. So looks like he's going to be able to contend with any of those creatures. Probably go for a pack right here. Yep.
Gotta keep that thing off the table.
Gotta keep it off the table.
Devour Flesh to draw there for Jessup. Land, Pack Rat's pretty easy place to go. That's where he will go. Kurth. There's Devour Flesh. Get that off the table. So now he's got to beat Nightveil Spectre.
He's got to beat the Nightveil Spectre. It looks like he does have a Banishing Light. And Jessup just draws another land. So really, no other action beyond this Nightveil Spectre currently.
It's pretty straightforward here. You know, creature kill, creature kill, creature kill. Let's work our way to the mid game now.
And, you know, we were talking about how the white could help Lloyd in this matchup. Currently, we're seeing Banishing Light being effective. He also has a Deicide in his hand as well to answer any potential Underworld connections.
Sign in Blood. We'll draw an Underworld Connections and a Hero's Downfall. There's a Swamp Pass to turn back over to Kurth, who will draw a card. He's got a Hero's Downfall of his own.
So Sign in Blood looked pretty good there, drawing 2 awesome cards.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we're really in the reactive mode here. It's like a lot of reactive stuff. Both players have removal spells in their hand. Jessup does have that connections, although Lloyd does have the answer to it.
This is kind of interesting. This is attacker into 2 mana. Jessup thought for a little while about casting Devour Flesh, if he should or if he shouldn't. I like casting Devour Flesh a lot here. It's just playing a little Sinkhole.
Yeah, it's Sinkhole, which is good. I mean, this deck's very mana hungry.
Yeah. And Lloyd's going to sacrifice his old Mutavault to make sure that 2 damage comes across, but that's 2 mana Sinkhole. That means you're getting a mana advantage here. Jessup's going to be ahead by 2 lands now.
Yeah, and this is great for Jessup now because Jessup can actually cast the Underworld Connections.
And draw.
And then he can pass. He'll get a draw. He's going to get a draw no matter what. But now Lloyd can actually cast Deicide at the end of his turn. He's going to have to cast it on his turn.
I like drawing there immediately, too, because if you draw Thoughtseize, it's beautiful. It obviously ends up working out perfectly if he draws Thoughtseize that turn because he can hit Deicide. But I like just drawing there no matter what, because if you hit Thoughtseize, it's just going to be good. Now there, of course, is Deicide to take care of that Underworld Connections.
Yeah, if Jessup draws a Thoughtseize here, it's huge because he can take out the Hero's Downfall in his hand and play that Nightveil Spectre.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happens. So
Ding-a-ding-ding.
Great draw there for Jessup. Sees that Lloyd just has 2 lands, and now he can deploy that Nightveil Spectre, which, again, can be really, really huge in this matchup.
Yeah, players exchanging resources, as they often do, but think of the player who's drawn the extra cards this game.
Yeah.
Jessup with a Sign in Blood, and, hey, it was only 1 Underworld Connections, but it's an extra card. That's all you can really ask for. Here's a Duress, sees a Hero's Downfall and Devour Flesh. You can pick one of those. There goes the flesh, but Nightveil Spectre is very good in positions like this.
Yeah, Jessup's basically just forced Lloyd to be the reactor this match. He forced him to do all the reactive stuff, and now Lloyd has a tough spot. It looks like he's scryed. Looks like he wants that card. Unfortunately, he knows he's going to get hit by Nightveil Spectre.
I want to put that on the
bottom.
so
he's going to. Looks like he's going to have to put it on the bottom, and Jessup gets a free roll right here to see maybe something good that Lloyd doesn't know about. So tough spot because he's going to get hit by Nightveil Spectre here.
Take a draw. It's a copy of Boblight. Here comes the Spectre. Kurt's going to go down to 16. Top card is a Caves of Kolios. That might not be that great now, but it could be down the road.
If you hit Blood Baron, it's amazing.
Kurth knows the removal spell in Jessup's hand. He's going to send the Mutavault in anyway.
And I kind of like casting Bileblade. Actually, no, I think he probably...
I like Blighting because I don't want to lose to Elspeth. So I don't want to cast Hero's Downfall.
You don't want to cast Hero's Downfall, but you also don't want to lose to top deck Pack Rat. So I kind of like just holding on there. Just give yourself a little time. Maybe you can draw something where you don't mind. And there's a Pack Rat.
Like a Pack Rat.
So now you don't have to worry about the Mutavault anymore.
Yeah. Your life total's high enough. And you also know that your opponent does not have Grey Merchant. So you're not at risk of something like that. Now you're at risk of a card like Obsidian, but by and large, you can take a hit or two, I think. There's an Erebos. That one's a little ways away.
So let's see here. Is he going to discard BioBlade or Underworld Connections?
I think he wants to get the offensive. Like, I was thinking maybe he doesn't need to make a rat, but I think he needs to get on the offensive.
I think you want to make a rat here.
I think Danny just needs to decide what card he wants to discard. Again, his hand right now is Hero's Downfall, BioBlight, and Underworld Connections. I think the one card you don't want to discard is the Downfall.
Yeah, you don't want to discard Downfall. I'm fine with either BioBlade or Connections here. I think this plays fine. Just make a rat there, trying to press your advantage.
Gray Merchant's a nice draw. And, he's not going to gain him any life. Going to close the game out a little bit quicker here. Again, Devotion right now is 3, 4, 5. Gray Merchant's going to make it 6 and 7.
I kind of like just attacking for 6 here. Give yourself more options. See what you hit with Night Veil Spectre, and then you have. I don't like playing Gray Merchant yet.
Yeah.
I would probably pitch BioBlade at the end of Lloyd's turn, or make 2 rats. I don't think you want to make a rat here. I think you want to just see what you hit with Night Veil Spectre first, as opposed to getting 2 extra damage in.
Vitavolt's gonna attempt to block.
All right. Well, now I think you make a rat.
It seems like a good time to make a rat, probably, yeah.
I think now is probably fine to just pitch BioBlade.
Okay.
Let's see what he decides to do here. He might just let it go.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, though. If you make a rat, Lloyd goes down to 9 instead of 10.
You don't lose your creature.
And then you have 11 power in board, and you can make another rat. I kind of like just making a rat here. Just discard that BioBlade. Like, a top deck rat for Lloyd's not going to get him back in this game.
It's not good, yeah. It's not good at all. He's too far behind at this point. You obviously want to make sure. I think what Jessup's thinking right now is, okay, what are the cards that I can lose to? Because, like, it's obvious to just go, all right, discard a card, make a creature. But I think he just wants to figure out, okay, what are the things that I can lose to in this situation? Like, I can certainly see a reason to maybe keep BioBlight.
Yeah, because Elspeth make the tokens,
Yeah.
I'd kill your tokens. Oh, wow, so he's literally going to just make 2 tokens here.
Yeah, I think, no, what he does is he Hero's Downfall before blocks, and then makes a token.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he gets all this damage across. And then the last card in his hand is the Gray Merchant, and then pass the turn back.
Yeah, so Lloyd's at 6 now. A top deck BioBlade would be pretty good.
Yeah, BioBlight's okay. BioBlight's okay for Kurth.
He still has to contend with the Night Veil Spectre, which has a Desecration Demon under it. So, but BioBlade actually keeps him alive.
Connections was the draw. He's going to put it on the Caves.
And I don't believe he played a land this turn.
Not yet. Draws a card. There's a Caves. It's a Connections. That's
Wow.
an extension of the hand. Danny Jessup going to win this match over Lloyd Kurth. Mono Black Devotion, the normal style of Devotion, does defeat Black White mid-range. And Danny Jessup, number 29 overall on our Season 3 leaderboard, is headed to the finals to play against Andrew Boswell and his green-white deck.